Hey ladies, it's 𝐻𝐻 here, holistic womb specialist, and today I want to talk about a really important topic, the fibroid belly, the dreaded fibroid belly, stomach protrusion due to fibroids, okay? Really important topic. If you have fibroids, you should know what I'm talking about, all right? Or endometriosis as well. You know, this also applies to that as well. Adenomyosis, these are also things that can cause reproductive health issues that can cause that bloated belly, right? So I wanted to definitely cover this because a lot of women don't understand the implications this has on the body. We have a lot to talk about today. This is information that you're not gonna get again from the doctor's office, from, you know, a lot of sources. So I wanted to cover this video today. So make sure that you watch it till the end if you have fibroids, and also as well, share this with somebody you know that has fibroids, okay? First and foremost, let me also say that if you are not a subscriber, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you have reproductive health issues, you're gonna wanna be subscribed to this channel, okay? A lot of information I'm giving, you're not gonna get, like I said, in doctor's offices and, you know, from other health professionals. It's important to understand and learn what's going on in the body when these issues occur, okay? And how to address these issues. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And also, if you enjoy the video, like the video, because a lot of you guys like the video, you guys comment, you guys watch the video without liking the video, okay? So be sure to like the video. Let that be the first thing you do. Just like the video so the algorithm can continue to, YouTube can push this video out to more women because more women need this information, okay? Really important, like ladies, please help me out, like the video, all right? So I wanna definitely, before we get started, also extend my love and prayers to anybody living in the Florida area. As you guys, I'm sure you guys already know, there's been lots of hurricanes. There's one either approaching or just making its rounds to that area right now. So I'm definitely wanting to stop and say, anybody in the Florida area, anybody that has family down there like I do, you know, it's definitely a scary time, right? So I want to extend my love, my prayers to everyone, and please get somewhere safe, whether you're staying where you are or you're evacuating, get somewhere safe, right? And take care of yourself. And again, my prayers are with you. I hope that everybody makes it out of this okay? Because the last hurricane last week was just awful. It was just so awful. Also want to extend, you know, they even have more hurricanes coming. Like everybody just be careful. Please be careful. Don't want anything to happen to you, ladies. So again, sending my love and prayers. Everybody, hope that you're okay? Definitely have to say that, all right? So let's get into this topic. The dreaded fibroid belly, when you're dealing with the fibroid belly, when you're dealing with, which is like the appearance of quote unquote looking pregnant, you may get a lot of questions about, you know, whether you are pregnant or not. And I know this can really take a hit on your self-esteem. No woman wants to hear, are you pregnant, when they're not pregnant. But imagine that you're dealing with fibroids, right? You're dealing with these large fibroids, and then you're constantly hearing this over and over again. This can really, really not just take a hit on your self-esteem, can take a hit on your womanhood, your femininity, you feeling comfortable in your body. As somebody personally that has dealt with this, that has had that large fibroid belly when I was dealing with fibroids over 10 years ago, I know what that feels like. And I know that it really is just frustrating, you know what I mean? It's just, it like drains your life force, okay? So I want to say that I know personally what that feels like, but I also know that this can be resolved. As somebody that's resolved it in myself and also worked with many women, have clients who've had this issue and resolved it. It can be resolved, okay? But let's talk about the implications of a fibroid belly. This is important information that you have to know, okay? And again, it's stuff that you're not gonna get from a doctor's office, okay? So whenever we're dealing with a stomach protrusion or, you know, a bloated belly due to fibroids, this means, and even due to endometriosis and adenomyosis, right? Because this is also a thing with those issues. This means that the uterus is enlarged, okay? The only time the uterus should be enlarged is during pregnancy, but fibroids also can create an enlarged uterus, okay? Same thing with adenomyosis as well. When your uterus is enlarged, you're gonna feel the bloating, the discomfort, right? The pressure on not just the lower abdomen, also surrounding organs. Because remember, the uterus, I mean, it's not just the uterine issue when it comes to fibroids, especially as they grow bigger. It's also, you have surrounding organs. So it's also going to affect that as well. And it typically has a colossal effect on the entire body, okay? So let's talk about it. Number one, when it comes to, having an enlarged uterus, when it comes to having the fibroid protrusion, the fibroid belly, this also causes pelvic pain, right? And lots of discomfort. Like it's like something that you just always feel, especially when it's pushing out like that, you just always feel that, right? And it's just very uncomfortable. It makes you almost feel as though you're a stranger in your body, right? It makes you not feel comfortable with your body. How can you feel that connection with your body when you have that protrusion there? It's not supposed to be there, right? So there's that. That having an enlarged uterus in general can cause lots of pressure, lots of pain, persistent pain, discomfort. It really does have an impact on your quality of life. It just feels very uncomfortable, right? And it has an impact even on daily activities. It's something that you're always going to be reminded of every single day. Some women, they're only really reminded of their fibroids when they're on their period, but for most women, that's not the case. It's a daily thing. More than 57% of women who have fibroids, they reported literally their fibroids affecting them on a daily basis, okay? That is a horrible way to live. As somebody that's been through it, that's a horrible way to live. You literally, at that point, had fibroids taking up your whole entire life, okay? Also, what a large fibroid belly, what this enlarged uterus can cause is also irregular menstrual cycles, okay? And not just, you miss a menstrual cycle. I'm talking about you're bleeding, heavily bleeding with lots of clots. That's irregular, right? I'm also talking about prolonged bleeding for more than 3 to 4 days. And I always say this, you should not be bleeding for more than 3 to 4 days, okay? Your menstrual cycle, the entire menstrual cycle, the entire, all the days that you're bleeding, it should equal to just a few tablespoons of blood. I know that a lot of people are gonna freak out when I say that, but that is the truth. Because a lot of us don't understand what normal is because we haven't experienced it, right? But that doesn't mean you can't experience it. You can experience having a normal menstrual cycle. You're not supposed to bleed until you, hemorrhage when you have a menstrual cycle. And please do not look at that as being normal. That is not normal, okay? So just understand that. So a lot of women who have enlarged uterus, they're bleeding in, the fibroid belly, they're bleeding, 7, 10 days, even some women up to a month. I've heard women bleeding for 5 months, right? There was a woman that I worked with that in my Detoxify Your Womb program that was bleeding for 2.5 years every single day, okay? And she, in the Detoxify Your Womb program, literally within by week 3 to 4, we were able to slow down her bleeding, eventually get it to stop, and then she then got her period about 6 weeks later, and then we resetted her cycle, okay? So I say all that to say, listen, and she went to, during those 2.5 years with that she was bleeding, she went to so many doctors, she went to just all sorts of help. Nobody could help her. All they did was put her on tons of birth control and actually make the situation worse, okay? And within my program, my Detoxify Your Womb program, literally week 3 to 4, we slowed it down. Then we was able to stop it, and then we was able to reset her cycle for her to have normal 3 to 4 day cycles, okay? So, and that's what happened. She finally got healing, okay? So I just want to reiterate that. So you bleeding for 7 days is not normal. You bleeding for a week and a half is not normal, right? You bleeding heavily is not normal. You having brown blood, before or after your period is not normal. And I'm going to do a video on that because that's something a lot of women still don't understand. They think it's normal. And that's a huge issue. That's a circulatory issue. That's a liver issue. That's a lot. We're going to go into that in a whole nother video. Okay. The brown blood. Now, also too, you may randomly just skip your cycle, or you may, bleed every once at 3 months, or just irregular menstrual cycle, right? That's also can occur when we're dealing with an enlarged uterus, when we're dealing with the stomach protrusion, the fibroid belly, okay? Also, this is something that's not talked about, but it's really a thing with women, urinary issues. Let's talk about it. The frequent urination. If that fibroid is if your uterus is enlarged and it's putting pressure on the bladder, okay, you're going to always like, there's pain sometimes that is associated with that. You needing to use the bathroom, you needing to urinate, you're gonna have that frequent urination. Like, and then for some women, they're never able to feel like they can empty their bladder, right? So it's like you have trouble emptying your entire bladder. Like, so sometimes you may use the bathroom and then you'll empty you'll then urinate some more after you leave the bathroom. Or some women, they're not even able, like, when it's putting so much pressure, the fibroid is putting so much pressure on the bladder that sometimes they can't even make it to the bathroom. It gets that bad. And you're probably like, well, how does that happen? It does get that bad. When that fibroid it starts to grow and it's putting that pressure on the bladder, it can really, I'm telling you this right now, and that can severely affect your quality of life. This is why a lot of women that have fibroids, they have a fear of leaving the house sometimes, okay? This is when it gets bad. And if you're watching this and you have fibroids and it hasn't gotten to this point, if you're not, again, doing anything to really move the needle in your fibroid shrinking journey, if you don't have a protocol that actually works, not just a random remedies, I'm talking about a protocol to really target those fibroids, address the root cause physically and emotionally, then this is what you're signing up for. I'm telling you don't want to go through this, okay? So let's go on. We have a lot more to talk about. Constipation and bloating. Constipation, let's talk about constipation and difficulty moving your bowels. This is a big one, okay? If that fibroid or even cyst, because this is going to also apply to ovarian cyst, is putting pressure on the rectum, that can lead to difficulty passing stools, constipation, which constipation is a lot more serious than a lot of people think. It's literally your body retaining waste. So your body's not able to release the toxins. That's a huge issue. This is how a lot of people get sick, especially when you have fibroids, right? You need to release the toxins, release the excess estrogen. You need to be able to do that. And if you're dealing with constipation, you're literally just keeping the waste inside of you. It's just gonna make the situation worse, make the fibroids grow even bigger because it has all these toxins and all this stuff, all these excess hormones, right? It's just gonna feed that fibroid, okay? Also, as well, this is why a lot of women that have fibroids have, difficulty with, moving their bowels. And also as well, hemorrhoids and fibroids go hand in hand. A lot of women that have fibroids also have issues with hemorrhoids, okay? So keep that in mind. Also too, back and leg pain is very common with fibroids, especially as they grow bigger, especially as that uterus becomes enlarged, especially as we're dealing with the fibroid belly. This has implications on the entire body. So fibroids can exert pressure on surrounding organs, especially as they grow bigger, especially as that uterus gets enlarged. And then this can cause, issues with the nerves. You start getting lower back and leg pain. This is very common with fibroids, right? With reproductive health issues in general, that leg and back pain, right? So that's another thing too. So then there's the just always feeling fatigued and drained and lethargic. That's definitely goes hand in hand with fibroids. A lot of women that have fibroids, this is a huge issue for them. And as somebody that had fibroids, again, before in the past, I was always tired. Like, I remember my mom was like, why are you always sleeping? Why are you always in bed? I was always tired. Okay. And it was very hard to just live everyday life. It was very hard to even just go out. I always was just tired, always. And again, that affects your quality of life. Okay. So just having unexplained fatigue, you may have gotten the, enough rest, adequate amount of rest, or, slept enough, and still you're always tired. This is related to hormonal imbalance. This is related to fibroids and cysts or other reproductive health issues. You're just always tired. Okay. The fibroids are draining your life force, literally, right? Draining your life force. So this is a huge issue. Now, fibroids, this is what a lot of people don't talk about. Fibroids becoming life-threatening, because we always hear, well, fibroids can't, most fibroids aren't cancerous. That is very true. But number one, they do raise the risk for cancer. They do raise the risk for certain cancers having fibroids and not addressing them naturally. Yes, they do. Study breast cancer. You have estrogen receptors all over your body, in your breast, also in your uterus. Listen, okay? So if you can get a tumor in your uterus, you can get a tumor in your breast as well, okay? So a lot of women that have breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, these women have had fibroids or other cysts or, ovarian cysts, okay? Do the research. Now, fibroids become life-threatening or dangerous when they block what is called, and I want you guys to look this up, iliac nerve. So when our fibroid starts pressing on nerves, this becomes a huge issue. There's something called an iliac nerve that's located in the groin area, okay? And this is gonna blow your mind, because a lot of you guys have been having these symptoms, and it blew my mind when I found this out too, because I was like, I was having these symptoms and I didn't even know that. I was never told by a doctor that this was an issue. There was a woman who also literally almost passed out due to having this happen. And it took years before, they were able to find out the fibroid was pressing on a nerve. It's just a whole bunch of stuff with this. So the primary function, right, of the iliac nerve is like to recycle the oxygenated blood from the lower extremities of your body to your heart, okay? So when that nerve in the groin area, when it's blocked, when it's compressed, there's a variety, not only is it dangerous, there's a variety of symptoms that you can face. Now, let me just read some of the symptoms, because some of you guys, and if you have any of these symptoms where your fibroid is blocking this nerve, put them in the comment section, please. This is a serious issue. Tingling and numbing in the lower extremities, like the hands, even the legs, right? Varicose veins. Yes, because that's a circulation issue. I used to have them as well. And as I started healing my body, they started going away. Okay, varicose veins, dizziness, okay? High blood pressure. A lot of women that have fibroids have high blood pressure as well. I told you guys fibroids is a full body issue. It's not just a uterine issue, okay? Shortness of breath, very common with fibroids, okay? Of course, the fatigue, feeling lethargic all the time, blood clots, heart palpitations, also very common with fibroids, right? Swelling in the legs or the ankles. Swelling in the legs or the ankles. So listen, these are things that a lot of women go through. These are things that a lot of women go through. Your fibroid may be blocking, blocking that nerve. Maybe, compressed, maybe blocking that nerve, or, is on the nerve. We don't know, right? We don't know. So it's really important for you to understand this, right? And maybe this is something you could look in deeper with your doctor if you're having these symptoms, but it's important for you to understand this is not something you want to just skate over. It can be, dare I say it, deadly if you don't face those fibroids. And I'm not talking about surgery, because listen, surgery, they will just come back. I'm talking about the natural way. I'm talking about you actually addressing the root causes, the physical and the emotional root cause of the fibroids, and really having a thorough plan to get rid of them, and that you're following and that you're being consistent with. Not you just trying random things, not you're just trying whatever you randomly read online. That's not a thorough plan. Not that you're just in Facebook groups and just trying one thing one day and one thing next week. That's not a thorough plan. I'm talking about a thorough wound detoxification protocol, a plan to get rid of those fibroids. And you're actually addressing also the emotional issues as well. That is important. And that's what I do for my clients in my Detoxify Your Womb program. I'm telling you this now. I'm not trying to scare you, because as somebody that's went through fibroids, I know what it does to not only your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, right? It's important that you actually take this seriously and understand that this is not something that's going to go away, just because you're not thinking about it. It's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. You cannot sweep this under the rug. You have to address this. You have to address it. Okay. So, we didn't even talk about the painful intercourse that comes along with having, once your fibroids get larger. Once you're also as well, your uterus becomes enlarged. Once you're dealing with the fibroid belly, there's also the pain and discomfort. And some of you ladies are married, right? This can really interfere. Like I said, it's not just a uterine issue. It's not just the issue that just affects you. It also affects your loved ones as well, right? So painful sex typically is linked to things like fibroids and endometriosis, and or other reproductive health issues as well. Could be adenomyosis, but these typically, fibroids and endometriosis typically are the main ones that deal with this condition, the painful intercourse. Okay, so this is whenever you should never feel pain after intercourse. You should never, after or during. It should never be painful. If it's painful, that's the issue. Take that as a red flag, right? That that means that we have to look further into what's going on. Also, too, this is another thing too. A lot of women bleed after having sex as well, and I'm gonna talk about their period. They literally bleed after having sex. That's also a red flag. Okay, unless you're a virgin, but that's a whole other conversation, right? That's a red flag. Now, also, too, abdominal swelling and bloating. That's another thing too. Bloating is never normal. Newsflash. Bloating is never normal, and a lot of women have normalized bloating. In our society, it's not. Your body's literally inflamed and it's telling you, no, I can't digest this. But we have normalized bloating. This is why a lot of people have horrible gut health and backed up digestive system. And if you have fibroids or any reproductive health issues, by default, your digestive system is backed up. Okay, it's backed. It's not working the way it's supposed to work. It's not expelling toxins, and this is why you have the fibroids. Okay, so there's also infertility risk. When we're dealing with, if you're dealing with fibroids, especially as they grow bigger, okay, they can cause infertility. When you have an enlarged uterus, they can block they can block your uterine cavity. And let me just say this: let me be honest with you. If you're dealing with fibroids and you have not gone on your journey to address them, and unless those fibroids, you're literally seeing shrinkage and you're having amazing cycles, you should not be trying to conceive at that moment when you have fibroids. You should not, especially if they're large. You should not. That's actually irresponsible. And this is why I say that. Take about 3 to 6 months, shrink the fibroids, get your health in order, get your hormones in order before bringing forth life. Get your body healthy because we're passing this stuff on. So you're dealing with when you have fibroids, you're dealing with a digestive system that is backed up. Do you know that the health of your digestive system is passed on to the baby? Do you know that? Do you know that? We have to stop playing around. I'm telling you this right now. We cannot say that we love our children, because I hear a lot of women say that they love their children, they want to have children, or they love their children so much, but then we're passing down toxicity. It has to stop, okay? It has to stop somewhere, and you have to break the curse, okay? So it's so important that you get your body healthy, your mind healthy before you bring forth life. Please, okay? For the future generations to thrive, for your future generations to thrive. Okay, so that's really important. Also too, so the risk of infertility does increase with fibroids, or definitely with larger fibroids for sure. Okay, especially if they're big enough for you to have the protruding abdomen, absolutely. Miscarriage risk, this one is huge. The amount of women that came to me, even just come to me in general, and have had miscarriages due to having fibroids is astronomical. If you can read my inboxes, if you can read my emails, the amounts of, I'm telling you this right now, this is why I say don't try to conceive until we can get in a healthy state. Miscarriages due to fibroids are like, it's high risk when you're dealing with fibroids. Pregnancy is high risk when you're dealing with fibroids, and the miscarriage risk is large. Especially if you're dealing with the enlarged uterus, if you're coming into pregnancy already with an enlarged uterus due to fibroids, especially, okay? Especially. And this will also make, if you do make it to full term, your pregnancy will be painful, the baby kicking on the fibroid. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. It's not a good, it's just not. It's not. And it's not fair for baby to have to come into this forth in this world and there's fibroids surrounding it. It's just not, it's not right. I don't know why that's been normalized. It's not right. Okay, so it's a huge issue. So it really, we have to really think about not just what we want desperately. Your desires are valid. I get it. But what are you willing to do to be to number one, get your body healthy and to bring forth life in a healthy way? Okay, if you can't even get your health in order, like what? That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, it doesn't even make any sense. Okay, so I'm here to tell you, listen, this is not a joke. You having these issues, you having, this fibroid belly is a huge issue. And has implications on your health in many ways, and your mental health as well. Not even just your emotional health and your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. Who wants to have this bloated, huge belly and have to hide it? And when they're not pregnant, no woman wants to go through that. No woman wants to go through that, and you don't have to go through that. Okay, I'm telling you this as somebody that's been through it. That's also, had clients that also had, the big fibroid belly. Just had, I want to call it stomach protrusion due to fibroids, or even just an enlarged uterus due to fibroids. And the clients that have dealt with that now can, who have shrunken and got rid of their fibroids, now experiencing a much flatter stomach, number one, and also had their uterus return back to normal size. I had a client who had she literally had her uterus was the size of an 8-month pregnancy. It was large. People thought that she was pregnant, and I'm talking about pregnant to the point where they're like, when are you due? That's what they would ask her. Her stomach, in literally 2.5 months of being in my Detoxify Your Womb program and working with me, her stomach went from her uterus went from the size of an 8-month pregnancy to literally, in 2.5 months, all the way flat. And now she had large fibroids and large cysts, and now she is fibroid and cyst free. She worked with me for 2.5 months, in total about 4 months. And we shrunk it down so small that her stomach was flat. And then now she's cyst and fibroid free and healthy as can be and just loving life. I have so many other clients that have went through the same thing. I have clients right now in my Detoxify Your Womb program that's seeing their fibroid belly literally shrink before their eyes. As a matter of fact, in my Freedom, there's an amazing woman who purchased my Freedom from Fibroids Mastery course, okay? And if you have not purchased that course, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you want to master getting rid of fibroids, that's an amazing course. She purchased that course, but she purchased the option to also get the course and do 2 weeks of coaching, Telegram coaching with me. So when you purchase the course, and you will see it when you go to and the link will be in my description box, just to let you guys know. But when you see the course, you're gonna see that there's an option to take the course by itself, and that's a self-study course, or you could take the course while getting coaching from me for 2 weeks, okay? So that's, of course, the better option. She literally is on week 2 right now, almost done. We're almost done week 2. And she's like, in just a week, like my belly, because she has the fibroid belly. She's like, it went down so much in just a week. She was just like, this is crazy. Now she's like, I'm doing the program. I'm gonna get into the program because I want to get rid of these fibroids. She's like, because in just a week, she's like, I feel better, I feel lighter. Like when she told me that yesterday, I was screaming. I was just so happy. Listen, you can't afford to continue you can't afford to continue to keep your fibroids. You can't. And in case you did not know, fibroids cost women that have fibroids, the cost is about $25,000 annually. And you're probably like, what is that on? Hospital visits, diagnostic tests, right? Follow-up care. All of these repeated surgeries, because you don't just have one, you have multiple surgeries when it comes to fibroids. All of these weird procedures that you guys want to have. Hormones, IVF. And then let's also put in the lost time from work, all the hospital visits, right? That's also time from work. the emotional pain, the mental, the mental health, because fibroids does affect your mental health as well. So throw in therapy with that as well, and just all the things that you have to deal with when you have fibroids. Let's also put in all the health issues that will occur when you have fibroids. So it's just the cost, and you can look this up. The indirect and direct cost of having fibroids cost you $25,000 a year. Are you willing to pay that every year in order to keep your fibroids? Ask yourself that, okay? So listen, I have, in case you guys don't know, I have a 10-week special to work with me in my Detoxify Your Womb program, okay? It is not gonna be, listen, it's just a few days that I'm gonna say, okay, we're done with that. I'm looking for 2 more clients for that, just 2 more. 10-week special, work with me for 10 weeks, that's almost the end of the year. Let's get you, so you can walk into 2025. Some of you guys will be fibroid free, but if not fibroid free, at least to the point where your fibroids are so small and you feel so much better, and then listen, I know that 2025, I'm gonna be fibroid free, okay? Because if your fibroids are less than 10 centimeters, I'm sure if you work with me by 2025, you can be fibroid free, depending on how many you got, okay? But you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to make a commitment. Stop being afraid and make a commitment to yourself and say, I'm going to join this program. Because some of you guys have been following me, and your soul is calling for you but you're fighting it. You're fighting it. I'm only taking a very few amount before I'm closing up shop for the end of the year. And I'm saying I'm opening it back up next year. That's if for coaching. That's if I do. Because I don't know if I'm going to be coaching and doing the Detoxify Your Womb program in 2025. It might just be a course. And if you just want the course for the Detoxify Your Womb program, we have the signature course. You can get that, okay? But that does not come with coaching. But it's an amazing course. I just updated the course. You have lifetime access to it. So I want to put that out there as well. All right, so if you guys have any questions, definitely put them in the comment section, okay? I hope that you learned a lot today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this as well. And I'll talk to you later. If you want to be a client in my Detoxify Your Womb program, email me. My email will be in the description box. Email me. Let's go. Let's work together. Let's get you fibroid free, okay? I'm so hyped. I want to help more and more women become fibroid free before 2025. Let's go.